driving me mad. You burn like a fire. Now you're calling again. Sugarcoat everything, but it doesn't make it sweeter. We wake up in my bed. I forget what you did, but it doesn't make things easier. You're with my head again. I believe in every word you say, baby. Now you're calling again. Sugarcoat everything, but the truth still tastes as
Technically, yeah. I mean, I honestly,
Hello, everybody.
I'm like from the same org, so I might just say the pick.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the A-League Pick Show. Apologies for the tardiness. I was resetting stuff on my computer. I say that. I was swapping motherboards completely, and then it didn't want to post for a while, so that was fun. But we're here now, and thank you, everybody, for holding on. We have Boa versus the Bear coming up in just a few minutes, but first of all, very important, we're going to do our A-League Pick Show. As you guys know, we have a picking system to get into playoffs, depending on where the teams finished. However, Frogs and Fire and Cryptic Guys are exactly tied in our standings. They're both 6-1, both 12-5. So we need to do a coin flip to work out who is going to be first seed and second seed, and therefore get first and second selection in playoffs. And of course, we have an actual physical coin flip from Denji here.
All right. Who wants heads? Who wants tails? Between Toasted and Krabby.
I don't care. Krabby,
I'll take tails.
You can pick first.
take
Toasted, Frogs and Fire's heads. Corrupted tails. Heads.
Damn.
I love that we saw none of that.
So, like it flipped up in the air, so like I don't know, but it landed. But I flipped it down its head. So Frogs and Fire get first, I guess.
Fire first selection. Let's have a look at the bracket, what they can choose. People who made it through the plains are Marin Mallows, Chungus Fungus, Campfire Song Song, and Polaris. So Frogs and Fire, over to you for the first pick.
Okay. Hold on. I'm looking at what my team has said. Frogs on Fire pick Campfire Song Song as our first opponent.
Wonderful. Why Campfire Song Song?
I have no idea. I'm just looking at what I just pinged. I just asked, like, I guess Crow, who is the captain, and then also Para, who's the manager. I was like, hey, who should we pick? And then they were both like, like, I think you should try to pick like either Campfire Song Song or I think their other pick was Chungus Fungus or something. So I mean, I guess I'm just kind of going off of whatever they want to pick, but I'm assuming it's because like even like I guess Campfire Song Song, even though they have gone on like a really good run, I guess like most people would still maybe not like put them higher than some other teams just because those games did go to like pretty close map 5s. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, like we're still gonna like try our hardest, and we're not gonna like underestimate them as a team. So it's like I don't know.
Wonderful.
Just,
Campfire Song
because
Song
of
is
what
the
they
only
picked.
team to make it from plains round 1 in A and B League. So there we go.
They're also the
Next up-
lowest seed to make it, right?
They went 2-5 in the regular season, 8-11. So pretty close
Seed
matches though.
7.
Seed 7. Corrupted Guys, over to you.
Well, we also were gonna pick Campfire Song Song. I think everyone was praying to get, both teams were praying to get the first pick for Campfire Song Song. But our backup or our second pick was Marin Mallows.
Mallows will be playing them first of all. Why Marin Mallows then?
Not gonna lie, like I think obviously Campfire Song Song we think would have their games just haven't been convincing. Marin Mallows looked the least convincing out of the remaining lot. We're confident we could beat anyone, but we don't want to play Chungus Fungus because it's just an infuriating match to play because it's Pengalex that they just play Bastion Lifeweaver, and it's not that it's unbeatable. It's mind-numbingly painful to play versus. So we'll just let someone else have that deep joy of playing versus Bastion Lifeweaver for various maps.
Fair enough. You never really
And
know
then-
what's going to happen against Pangalex.
Yeah, so we're just gonna
Play some normal
keep that.
Overwatch.
Yeah, some normal Overwatch. We'll say that.
It's still Mar and Malos.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Just less headaches than Pengalex and Lylum just pulling bastions around the map.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, the final pick will be Primal Pineapples. Of course, Smokeballs will get whatever's left. Primal Pineapples get the decision between Polaris and Chungus Fungus. So, over to you guys.
Hello, am I good?
Hi, yes.
Okay. We are going to be picking Polaris with the third pick.
What?
Polaris. Why Polaris?
We just feel confident in the mirror, and it was just a most straight mirror last time, and every other team has like a bunch more niche tricks that they try and play. So it's just a lot more one-dimensional focus on the matchup.
Well, there we have it. And that means Smoke Wolves will be playing Chungus Fungus in the opening round.
You had here for nothing, bro.
Greetings is here to speak on the pick.
I did not
What do you
see
think?
that.
Oh yeah, I won't lie. Me and Dab have spent this past like few days already setting up the time for our match.
Yeah, I was very confident that we would get Polaris.
We already sat down and said, okay, like when does this work? Okay, great. Okay, we can move players to here. And so like we already had our match time set and ready, and all of our players ready for the match. And I sat here and I was like, dude, there's like a 5% chance that Primal believes they can beat us in the mirror and they're gonna pick us.
And it's happened.
Yeah, I'll say this at 100% here. We are very strong at the characters that are good, but Primal Pineapples has not seen the full strength of Polaris, and I genuinely believe our match versus them was not only on some of our worst maps, which isn't a problem anymore, but yeah, we just weren't playing good. I think we'll just win the match, and you'll wish you chose Chungus Fungus.
I'm fighting words.
Well, damn.
Okay, I hate to cut this short, but we do have Boba vs. the Bear coming up very shortly, and we're already 20 minutes behind, which is my fault. I'm going to take a quick break to get set up for that, and I'll be back with the final C-League play-in match. Thank you everyone in the A-League Pick Show. And immediately after the C-League Pick Show, after the C-League match, we'll have the C-League Pick Show, and we'll have our final 8 teams in every division. And by that I mean 4 teams in C-League, of course, because there's only one pick that's going to happen after that. We'll see you in just a moment, everybody. Boa vs. the Bear coming up right next.
I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you want to glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not give in. So the days became weeks, it felt just like the night before. You were slowly fading in my mind. When you find it hard to not give in. We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer heat. The world outside can't wait a few, 'cause right now we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds, your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be, got nowhere to be. Your hair's a mess, but you don't mind. You just laugh, let it fall where it lies. Coffee's cold, but we take a sip, talk about nothing. Let the morning slip. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks.
Hello, BPL. Welcome to the final play-ins game of C League. It will be Boa versus the Bear, which, if you thought you've seen these two teams play each other recently, you did. I think they played in the final week regular season, and that was a 2-0 for Boa. So Boa trying to repeat that. I think the Bear is down one of their players or whatnot, because I think one of the teams is finding a ringer. I don't know which one was looking for a ringer, but I'm joined by Greetings here. And
Greetings.
You
are correct.
I was thinking about saying your name like Winston says it, but I digress.
Yeah, you are correct. Boa's last game was the Bear, and it was a 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, I can't remember
just
because we
double-check.
played the Bear right after they did, or Oomphy. I'm on Oomphy University. We played the Bear right after Boa played the Bear. So this is the final play-ins game, as the Bear did take down Log Racers in a pretty dominant 3-0 fashion, albeit Log Racers, I think, was down 3 of their players and had to have 2 ringers in place. So I think that may have that probably had a bigger impact on how close the game was, because Log Racers were down their star player Gilgamesh. For a fact, I know he was not there, and I think they're down 2 of their DPS players as well. Now, the Boa versus the Bear, I have all my eggs in the Boa basket, just because I played against Boa. I've scrimmed against Boa multiple times, and they are a pretty good force to be reckoned with. They were the only team to actually beat us, beat Oomphy in regular season. So they are what I consider to be one of Oomphy's bigger threats, alongside Goatman, when it comes to playoffs. but I think Boa's probably going to take in this 3-1. I think the Bear could knock a map off of Boa by just like cheesing with Awesome on fire or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup for sure. The Bear, definitely an insane underdog in this game. I mean, I don't even think most people believed that they would pass their first play-ins round 1. That's not even a knock on them. That's just based on the regular season. It's kind of hard to see. But I mean, listen, even in A-League, Campfire Song, seed 7 in their side, I mean, they made it all the way to the playoffs. It would be crazy, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, and we're going to be looking at the rosters as I don't know which person is missing on the side of the Bear, but you have Awesome and Harvest on the DPS line, Hyper Knight and Private Ryan on the tank line, Abel, WK, and Toxicroc on the support line, and the Hyper Knight's probably the stronger tank up between the two players on the tank line, and Awesome is they're basically a star DPS player. No knock on Harvest, but Awesome, he usually plays like the high impact heroes that in C League people have trouble with dealing, like the Flyers, like Pharah.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting match for sure here. I think the Bear, especially in their last playing game, showed us a side of life to them that I don't think we saw a ton in the regular season. So I'm really curious to see what the Bear has planned, because they have had a good handful of days to prepare for this match.
Yeah, and personal experience playing against the last game I played in regular season was against the Bear, and we went into that match thinking we were just going to stomp them, and then they came out and basically took first point to Eichenwald with like 5 minutes in the time bank, and I was like negative after the first round. And I was like, okay, maybe they actually do have some signs of life to them, and then after our attack round, they kind of like went back into hiding, but they did have a sign of life on their attack round.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, it really just goes to show that no matter what match you're in, you do have to still always respect your teammate. Never play down to a team. Always just pretend you're playing against the number 1 seed in every game, and you'll play better as a team. So I think it's time to head over and look at the players on Boa, because this is a roster that has really shown us a ton of life. And if you were to ask most people at the beginning of the season, right after picks, I think most people would have said this is most likely on paper the best C League team.
Best C League team by the only team that actually beat us. I still do not like that they did, even though it was a 2-1. It was a really close 2-1. But you have Andrew and Alucard on the DPS line, Taco or as Battletech is Fragster, and Hunter Tane on the tank line, Biscuit, Seacarrot, and Tracy on support line. And I just want to highlight the support line on Boa, because playing against them and scrimming against them multiple occasions, Biscuit, Seacarrot, and Tracy, they are really, really good at keeping, like, whoever, if it's Tracy or Biscuit or Seacarrot, basically, whoever's in, they're really good at peeling for each other, keeping each other alive. I despise playing Winston against Biscuit and Tracy, because every time I tried to engage, I would get slept or whip shot away.
And that's honestly genuinely like an incredibly impressive thing to do consistently, especially in C League. This is a backline that I think has kind of come up and really proven themselves to be just like a very solid backline. And I mean, like, it's shown, like, Boa, yes, they might be in play-ins, but it's really not by much of a metric. I mean, this could have easily been number 1 or number 2 if it was a tiny difference in map score.
What happened was they were number 1, we were number 2, Goman was number 3. Goman beat Boa, so that actually allowed us to get to number 1, because we took the head-to-head against Goman, and then Goman took the head-to-head against Boa, so that knocked them from 1 to 3.
Insanely close in the top 3 spot. I mean, anyone that's looked at the standings, it's literally 3 teams at 6-1. The only difference is Umfi has a +11 instead of a +9. I mean, a huge margin between them and 4th place.
Yeah, the top 3 teams are probably, like, I've scrimmed against Goman and Boa, played against both of them during reg season as well. They're actually, Boa and Goman were the back-to-back game. Like, no, just Terrapin and Boa, they're back-to-back, and then we played Goman the next week. Both of those teams are very strong. Boa, again, only team that beat us. It was really early in the season, but we're going to go into the ban phase here, and Boa has elected to ban out the Pharah. The Bear responds with banning Lucio. I'm not sure how the selection works. I'm not sure how the selection works out of who picks map and who picks ban, because I didn't look into that.
Should be... so the Bear picked Lijiang Tower. for their map, which means that Boa did get first ban.
Okay. My head thought this higher seed picks first map, but I'm not sure how it works.
Sure,
So
it should have been. I'm not sure why.
unless Boa deferred
they might
the
have
pick.
given, oh, Boa gave it up. Yes, that is
Okay.
good. That
Okay,
is
so
that is a
Boa
good
will
thing.
defer the pick so that they could give, which they are target banning out Awesome's Farah with that pick.
I think that's smart. I mean, as you mentioned earlier, Awesome, if this team is going to do stuff, it's going to be off the back of Awesome's Farah. Farah, just like a really continuously strong character throughout Overwatch 2. Just so much spam damage, and now her mobility is like kind of crazy, especially with them like moving barrage and even more fuel with major perk.
Yeah.
This character just like wins games if you leave them unchecked.
Yeah, and you see Awesome not happy about the Farah ban, but Boa and the Bear both coming out on different comps, completely different across the board. The only mirror match is the Break and the Genji, and I mean the Bear has Boa has a lot more poke and sustain potential. The Bear has a lot more up close brawl potential, but Orisa does kind of counter out Ramattra as Ryan drops super low Nem form forced early. Oh no.
This is looking pretty good. Boa, they've managed to take really good aggressive space onto the objective, force the Bear back. There wasn't even really a team fight there. Just the pure pressure output coming out on Ryan to just force him out was immaculate. And now you can see the team, they're just running down, trying to take their space. Drops one though, and it looks like Ryan, if he doesn't get any HP, is probably going to drop. But amazing speedering pulls him back. And the Bear, they managed to stabilize after getting a few resources out from Boa. It's just going pretty back and forth so far.
It's going back and forth, but you gotta look up to Andrew to find that first pick. He has been a monster on that Sojourn this season. And Railgun shot goes wide, and actually it's Master Ryan who just runs in there and manages to pick up Alucard of all hero people.
Yeah, just really good here. I think the Bear, they've recognized pretty quickly that they have the much brawlier composition, especially if they get out some stuff from Fragster on the Orisa. Just getting maybe like a spin out, it allows for Master Ryan to just run down into the main and take advantage of this team's much better brawl.
Yeah, but now you have Boa are going to be Boa have the window up. They also have the Terror Surge. His window comes out, and Ryan forced back really hard. And that gives the perfect opportunity for the Terror Surge. Ryan somehow still alive through all of that damage.
It's looking really good here, Bo. They've committed a lot of resources, but the Bear, they haven't done anything. Yes, they let the point flip, but they return now with the Orbit. It's targeting down everyone. The HP bars of Boa, they're dropping so low, and we can see Awesome gets that first pick as he then pulls Blade. And it looks like even though the Bear dropped the point, they did a really good disengage. No one died, and they returned with their ults and just cleaned up Boa in a very dominant fashion that round.
Yeah, now you have the rally from WK to deal with the upcoming Blade from Alucard. Andrew does have the OC. Hyper has a really good zoning too with the Deadeye, and Ryan does too with his Annihilation. For some reason, I slipped my mind. And Boa, they committed both power ultimates into that fight. Got nothing. Andrew though just decides I'm taking the fight in my own hands and rips Hyperspace's head clean off his shoulders.
Yeah, a little bit too far pushed up there, but it looks like Master Ryan is going to go aggressive, try to turn this on its head. I like this decision-making. It lets it take down Biscuit early, and Alucard also one, probably about to fall here. As Boa, they're definitely the favorites for this team, but it looks like right now they aren't ready to keep up with the aggressive tempo of the Bear roster, and this is just running it down. I mean, that was just incredible awareness from Master Ryan and the Bear to say we might be down one, but if we just go fast enough, they can't really respond. They don't have any support ults.
Yeah, now Boa, they should be able to at least make their way back in here. They're going to have 5 ultimates coming up, only to the Bears 2. As Blade out early from Alucard, rally response from WK, big stun, drops Alucard super low. Deadeye comes out, and that is very bold Hyper to try to peek that window. As Boa is still committing both support ults, both DPS ults committed. Finally, WK falls, and Boa should be taking this, but a massive ult commit from Boa just to take the point back. They only have Terror Surge to work with now.
Yeah, dropping 4 ults into this fight, I mean, you do get the point flip, and that was the, worst case scenario, you drop maybe 2 ults, and then, you just have 3 and you didn't cap, and that's the round. So it is good to just throw them in. The Bear now, though, you're honestly not that worried. You have a lot of time. Build up another Annihilation, build up another Blade. You have your Orbit to swing in here, and you just need to deal with the Terror Surge. So you can play this a bit slow and grab those resources.
Fraxer loses all his armor immediately. Biscuit takes out Hyperfang. I think that was a rail shot from Andrew that connected early with him, and that means Boa it's gonna buy them some time to try to start building back up to some of those ultimates. But the Bear, I think they're playing for Awesome's Blade, and Apple does have that Orbital Ray, and that combo itself is a devastating combo when it hits correctly.
Yeah, right now the Bear, they're really just trying to get that last little bit of percentage. They're probably going to swing on to the point here. They might even have to use the orbit early, and it looks like they're going to. Good Terra Surge to swing it back around. No one goes down, and already trades are being had, but they're in the favor of Boa. But the Blade finally comes out, and now it's even across the board. And it's now just a 2v2 here on the point. HP bar's dropping low, but it looks like it's going to go Boa's favor unless Nemform can pop up. And I feel like this is going to go the side of the Bear, especially with Annihilation coming up.
Annihilation coming up. A little bit
That's pretty early.
Really early pop. And Tracy does manage to actually get there for the touch, but will fall soon after. Biscuit, the last hope for the Boa, is hanging around, but Boa can't get the touch, as that looked like really problematic with the Annihilation coming out that early from Ryan. But Ryan manages to clutch up in the final moments. Especially with Awesome going down, but Ryan somehow gets his survives long enough to get that Nemform back online. The Bear take the first round, very close round, but the downfall of Boa was them committing 4 ultimates into that one fight just to take the point back.
Yeah, it's rough. It definitely feels like they didn't need the overclock at that end point. You know, you already commit both of your support ults, you commit the Blade. If you can't win the fight with just those 3 and have to commit a 4th ult, I mean, like, clearly the target focus isn't there right now. Maybe it's just like a first map warm-up thing. But the Bear, they've come out fighting, you know. They're done with their regular season hibernation, and they're ready to start swinging on these plans.
Yeah, and both teams not making any. The only adjustment is both teams deciding to completely mirror, except for Andrew staying on the Sojourn and Hyperspace staying on the Cassidy. And now it's just going to be who can outbrawl each other better. And if I were Boa, I would not really want to go where they're going. Coast usually is a death trap, especially with WK having the ability to knock one of them off. And Awesome already just, I think that was a deflected rail shot back into Andrew's face.
Yeah, I'm going to assume so. We've all been there. It's all happened. Last round, while Boa took all that amazing initial positioning on the first round, it seems like the Bear, they've taken the inside lane. They've gotten to the point. They have all the space they need. And Boa, as you said, they got death sentenced on the ledge. And the Bear, they're looking to take it to him up close. They're really wanting to prove that even though they ended 7th in the regular season, I mean, they're a team that still needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah, I don't really agree with Boa's rotation that they took. Like, they lost the main control, but then they decided to wrap around on, like, the worst area to rotate onto the map, unless you're, like, Hitjar's trying to turn the... Unless you're trying to take angles and turn the point to a kill box. As Hyperspace being super heavily pressured out, as Ryan already has Annihilation. He's pushing in.
And it looks like both sides lose their Ramatra, though, but if you look at the HP bars of Boa, everyone is just 1. It's just so hard for them to get anything done, and I think that even though Master Ryan went in there and died, I mean, you saw Boa, they had their trank traded at the same time, and the HP bars from that Annihilation were just, everyone was 1 HP, and it was just swift cleanups from Awesome.
Yeah, now, Boa, they're struggling to build up ultimates. I think they only have about the Rally made Blade coming up, but if you're the Bear, you got Rally, you're almost up to that orbital too, and Awesome should build Blade here, as Boa electing to try to go that coast rotation again, but they get split up, and Andrew gets caught off guard. Rally has to be committed from Tracy, and I don't think it's going to go in Boa's way.
No, it's not looking like it.
Committed.
They're both DPS are down for the side of Boa. I get it. It's 80%. You want to not, like, fall here and make this stuff to waste. But like, you got no good trades. Ults have come out. We're seeing an Annihilation come out from Boa to try to turn it. But Tracy dies, and then Frag dies, and then Biscuit is just alone on the point. And the Bear, this entire time, they haven't committed anything. They still have Blade. They still have their Orbit, which are both coming out right now. But I mean, Boa, they've been completely shut out. I wouldn't even, like... I mean, listen, if you closed your eyes and said one of these teams is seed 3 and the other is team 7, I feel like most people that haven't watched would get it wrong which team's which.
Honestly, that was just really good. Like, Boa, playing against Boa and scrimming against Boa, the downfall of Boa is like their alt economy is like their downfall a lot of times. And then Boa is a team that I've noticed that if they can't set tempo, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's looked really rough. I won't lie, but it's just map 1. I think a lot of the time what can happen in these sets is teams will go into map 1, especially against a team that they believe to be like a bit weaker than them. And their map 1, it's rough, it's a bit close at points. And then like it usually just takes that second map, time to lock in. They've gotten warmed up now to kind of turn it around. But I'm curious to see if the Bear will even give them that time.
I think Bear was setting a really good tempo, and you saw it was forcing mistakes. Rally commanded from Tracy doesn't get anything. Orbital comes out, but it comes out after they lose Andrew and Alucard already. So, and it's in their spawn, so then the entirety of the Bear just kited perfectly. I think WK was the only person who committed ult, which was Rally to match Tracy's, and he got the bash kill onto Alu when the Orbital came down, to the point where Awesome still had Blade, Abel still had Ray, and Boa's in last fight territory without both their DPS.
Yeah. I mean, I think the aggression, the continuous smart aggression of the Bear really did numbers for them in that game. You saw, even when they didn't get the initial positioning they wanted, they kept some of the space they had. They always made sure to be applying some pressure. And if they were really down in a fight like we saw in that first round, they just gave up the objective, which, they flipped over like 12, 13%, but it didn't matter because they got back in the fight instantly. They turned it with their ults. And the Bear, they're looking really disciplined.
Yeah, now we are going to Blizzard World. I don't know which. This is Boa's map pick. So Boa electing to go to a map where it's dive heavy, I believe, which doesn't really match. I believe that Signos Huntertane, if he's there, is coming in because Fredxter, I know, doesn't play Winston. The Bear with the first ban, they're electing to instantly ban out Kiriko.
I think the Kiri ban, it's a little interesting here. It does also look like the Bear, they choose to get that first ban, which I think is smart when you're the winning team. Always keep that small winning advantage up. I am a little curious to see how this will play into the map. I didn't fully see which one ended up getting picked for
Blizzard
hybrid. Blizzard World. Kiri, it does make a lot of sense. I think this is one of Kiriko's strongest maps for this hybrid setting. I'm honestly a little curious to see what Bo will respond with. Maybe they try to get rid of like a Ram. I don't know exactly fully what the Bear does in terms of dive, but Ram's just very solid on this point if they choose to ban that.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised if they do, but I won't be surprised if they try to ban out. If they try to ban out, let's say they try to ban out Tracer, because Awesome is known to play Tracer as well. I don't think they're ever going to ban Genji, because then that hurts Alucard, because Alu's best hero is Genji by far. So I could see them banning Tracer and then forcing Awesome into that Genji mirror. Or if they wanted to ban a tank out, from playing against Boa, I know they don't really like to play against Hazard. So I could see them banning out Hazard as well.
I think that would be a smart pick. I'm curious to see, because Blizzard World is honestly one of those maps where just about every single composition can work weirdly. The map leans itself to different comp strengths during different points throughout the map. And so we've seen dive, we've seen poke, we've seen rush, we've seen, I think, almost every single character across all 3 leagues at this point. And so Boa, I understand why it's taking them a while to ban this to ban on Blizzard World here, because there's so much that can happen.
Yeah, especially first point you can just kind of first point, or if you're really weird you can flip map, which I've only seen work once, and it was at the very high pro. It was at the pro level, which was flipping map. Second point is, I hate second point. I'm one of the people who just completely despises second point because of the high grounds, and the attack routes for the high grounds are usually pretty telegraphed. Unless you're a flanker and can go through the backside. Third point, I think that's the most brawly point of the whole entire map. So I won't be surprised if Brawl comes, a Rissamir comes out there. As Boa still trying to figure out, they burned the far ban already, so they don't have that for the rest of the series, which I think they're kind of regretting now.
Yeah, I would definitely say so, especially when it didn't go the way of, especially when it doesn't go the way of it. It's just really, it's a bit disheartening, I would say, when you spend such an important ban to try and quote unquote secure a map, and then it just doesn't go your way. But that honestly shows the strength of the Bear. Pharah, Diva's an interesting one. This was probably also to try and keep well, I was going to say to keep in check the Pharah, but I realized no, with the ban, D.Va's completely shut out. So I'm curious what Bo is going to play here that they don't want D.Va.
This signals to me that it's either going to be Hazard or Winston. Really depends on which tank player's in for Boa. Because I know for a fact, Frag usually plays the Hazard. If Hunter Tane is in, he usually plays Winston. So that kind of signals to me that it's going to be one of the two, depending on who's there. I won't be surprised too if you see like the traditional Brig on a backline from Tracy and Biscuit, because that's usually what they like to play. So the Kiriko ban might hurt a little bit from the Bear, unless they're electing to mirror that, which I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because WK is a very, very good Brig player.
Yeah, I would definitely say so. It's taking a minute in between maps, so as I know was fantastically requested, I do have some fruit facts if you are wanting them.
I just remember you doing that with Dexatron. I was laughing really hard when I was watching that.
All right, well, let's do a couple here. I won't spend them all. I'll do a few. First one, we already know that tomatoes are fruits. I feel like everyone has heard that once in their life, but here's some other interesting ones. Did you know that cucumbers, bell peppers, and eggplants are also all considered fruits?
I didn't know about eggplants. I thought that was like the one weird thing. I've never heard that before.
It's a very interesting one. Yeah, I was curious about that also. Some other weird ones about like properties of fruits. Bananas, they're radioactive naturally. I think some people may have heard that of the in-between. And it looks like we're finally getting into Blizzard World. We'll save the rest for later. That was a little sneak peek though into some of the fruit facts.
Yes. Heading to Blizzard World, this is actually one of my least favorite maps to play.
As
a tank player.
Yep.
Just because of the routes of attack you have access to on first, second, and third, it basically is like, I can't really be sneaky. I'm pretty much just going head on and hoping that the team misses me.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you 100% here. I would say that Blizzard World, I feel like the thing about Blizzard World, especially as a tank player, is you really need to know your character and understand the space you can control, because any overextension on a map like Blizzard World is just death. Just always.
It's death because of like there's a lot of natural cover you can play around as a tank, which helps, but there's also that natural cover can also be your enemy, especially if you decide to, say, try to go for an overextension kill, and then you're like, oh crap, I can't be here anymore, but your team can't do anything to help you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. It looks like pretty similar compositions coming from both sides. Awesome might be swapping over to the Genji or the Pharah here just after a quick TP, and we're going to the Tracer. Okay.
Another one of Awesome's like signature heroes, honestly. Awesome has like been like a Tracer Pharah Genji player throughout this, and like even a little bit of Sim thrown in there now. The Bear also did summon Hyper Knight. Hyper Knight Awesome already take down Seeker and Andrew.
I don't know if you saw, but such an amazing nade came off of the back of Abel there, was able to just clip Seacarrot and Andrew, I'm pretty sure, and just finished off. And right now, Boa, they have like they had the standardized Blizzard World setup, but the one downside of that is that if your supports are that far pushed up, they can just get antied and then someone dies, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, an extremely fast take here from the Bears. Boa is playing closer, electing to try to retake. Harvest actually has arrived, so he is in for hyperspace. But Hyper Knight, Hunter Tane just gets absolutely blasted. I think a really well-placed bubble from Hyper Knight cuts him completely off, and the Bear take first point, barely any contention whatsoever, and now the Boa just has to turn tail and get the heck out of there and wait for their tank to come back.
Yeah, and you can really tell that Boa wasn't able to really put up much of a fight just based off of like the ult charge of the Bear. I mean, like Harvest and Hyper had like such little ult charge at all, and it just looks like right now Boa, Hunter gets forced out early, bubble already gone, and right now Boa, they need to find a way to stabilize this, and I think a pick on a Harvest is a good way to finally get that defensive positioning.
Yeah, I think this is one of the compositions where like you see like Andrew would get like a for opening pick in the brawl, but then you're able to trade that up by just being aggressive. This is one of the compositions where I just think you can't really do that well unless your Tracer gets a trade pick really early too. As Awesome does have the pulse, but Abel and Biscuit both have nano boost up and available, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see both nano Winstons going in on the engage here.
Yeah, the Bear, though, they're that tiny bit closer to the rally. It looks like both sides going to be able to go in immediately for it, but Abel drops to it they're going to need to trade this out as Biscuit also falls, and it looks like things are turning up the Bear, but they're not going to get a ton for it as Boa have equally traded it out, and yet they remain with their Nano as Rally gets forced and a Winston pops.
Yeah, as you saw, it was a really good play from Alucard to go in there and get Abel. As Abel had to be in the open just to get that Nano boost up, and Alu goes Super Saiyan, gets 4 kills, I believe, in that fight. And the Bear, they commit Nano. They do get Rally out in return from CKR because Biscuit did fall into the hands of Hyper Knight, but now from Boa, you have the Nano Blade combo up, which is going to be absolutely devastating, especially with the supports having to play pretty close together. I don't think Rally's not really a reliable defense against that because you can just cleave through it.
Oh, absolutely. Managing to go very quickly here. Instantly picks up 2 from Alucard. Looks like a 3rd is going to follow, and maybe even a 4th here with that last swing, and Alucard just completely ripping through, just as his namesake does. And just such a clean fight from Boa. Just a nice, good up, and are we going to get the 5th? It looks like we might cut him off there.
Might be, okay, he gets out
Awesome,
barely.
sneaks out. Okay, that's really good. And the Bear, though, Pulse Bomb comes out. That forces the Primal at least, so that is a good, like, small victory. But the Bear, they're not going to get anything off of that. No cart pressure.
No card pressure, but Hunter Tane may have overstepped a little bit. It actually does manage to get out of there, but now the Bear, they do have the ult advantage as they have 3 ults to 1 for both. Now, Andrew is no slouch on the overclock. He's very threatening with that ult. Andrew takes, basically, Awesome comes back to spawn, just gets his head taken off immediately, and now that 5-minute time bank is starting to be whittled down very slowly by this rock-solid defense from Boa in second.
They're just doing a good job of going first, which is something that the Bear has done expertly up till this point, which is just never letting the opponents get that first jump. And what an amazing sleep, but it looks like they're just, that's so rough to see. It was a fantastic sleep, but Sojourn, like the terrain difference, it made it a little hard. And the Bear, that's a big ultimate down in the drain.
Yeah, big ultimate down in the drain. Hyper Knight does manage to force out Alu, but Abel just gets a cross-member on the Biscuit. And here comes the Nano on the Hyper Knight. Really nice whip shot from Tracy, but now Andrew's in a really bad spot, and Andrew's going the wrong way.
Yeah, going the wrong way, probably trying to trade his life out, maybe take the Nanoed Winston with him, and it looks like the trades are all coming up red for the Bear, but they had to expend both support ults for that fight, and there's still 1 more engage on second, as Boa, they're coming up full on their ults.
Yeah, it's going to be up to, like, maybe... The only thing is, Besk is not in line with Nano Charge with, as he has Alucard as his blade, as Boa nearly almost C9's the point, as Hyper Knight pops Primal, goes in, Seeker might be an issue. Harvest manages to take down Andrew. That's the pick you needed here for the Bear.
Absolutely. You can see now the support backline of Boa is being forced back. Support separated here. And right now the HP bars are dwindling low. Nano might have to be used here to secure this fight. But with these picks coming in, it looks like Boa is going to be able to take it right at the end. And honestly, the most you can hope for is that Harvest gets actually killed here in time to regroup with his team.
Yeah, but now you're staring down the barrel of the Nano Blade from Boa. The Bear went in that fight super fast to try to prevent that, in my opinion. But now you're staring down the barrel of it. And last time, Alu netted 4 kills with that blade. So now you only have 30 seconds left on the clock to get that little bit of meteorage you need to get in the second to get a time bank session. But it's going to be really tough, especially since they have Nano Blade and they also have the promo race to stall further if that doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, and I imagine if you're Boa and you've got like a pretty solid ult track, you know that they just don't have either Spartals, and you just go as fast as you can, especially off the bat of that anti-nade.
Oh.
And it looks like Harvest just dies even before Nano comes out, and this should just be the cleanup unless a crazy Sleep Dart comes out here.
Yeah, here comes the blade from Alu. Actually, he does miss this initial dash, but manages to chase down Abel, and Hyper Knight falls on the back end, and that should be the round, and nobody able to touch from the Bears. Boa, first point was very one and done from them, but they managed to hold second. I do think it did get a little dicey, but once Boa was able to set the tempo with their ultimates, their ultimate coming way better too. It was like night and day. As Alucard, you see there, 14-0 and wasn't killed once during the entirety of the defense from Boa. Just
fantastic play. I think Alucard did a really good job that round of just always making sure his team was in the fight. Opposed from that first point where it really felt like the Bear just got like a really good nade. They were able to go fast. They were able to get that amazing first 2 picks and just steamroll the entirety of first. Once Boa got a good setup, they were able to hold the Bear for 5 whole minutes. And 5 minutes is gigantic time bank for any point in Overwatch.
Yeah, and the Bear did get it to like just about the end of second. So basically, Bo's gonna have to get to the end of second to have a chance. But the Bear showing awesome on the far. Hunter is on the Sig. I don't think he's gonna walk out on the Sig, especially with the backline he has. Andrew probably just going for a pot shot on the Widowmaker. That's all. Now, Awesome, last time these two teams met, Andrew did the exact same thing. Awesome got his head taken off immediately because he peeked. I don't think he's going to do the same thing again.
I don't think so either. I'm curious to see the Bear. They've got this Pharah base setup. As long as no one peeks their head to Andrew, it's going to be tough. We do see Andrew actually just straight up goes on over back to the Soj here, which is good for Awesome because Sojourn a little bit worse at dealing with Pharah due to the projectiles. And so this is just going to be a big pick game, maybe an anti-nade fest between Biscuit and Abel to see who's able to get that first opening pick for their team.
Yeah, and Alo's in a kind of a little bit of a pickle. He dashes up towards Awesome and he gets stuck by the car by those boxes up top. But now Zoya has taken pretty much almost the entirety of first map control except for where the point is, and now Hyper Knight tries to go back in. A massive nade from Biscuit lands on both supports, but the follow-up is just not there.
Just a fantastic play there from the side of of Bear. They managed to get 2 down on Boa, completely reset that. And this is where it could get a little dicey. We've talked about the sight lines on Blizzworld here, but it doesn't look like they're able to pressure Hyper Knight or Harvest out, even though those HP bars were about half. And the Bear, they just shave about half the time bank off the clock almost, and they're looking good to continue it. But Biscuit, they do have the nano ready.
Abel should be able to get the Abel just jumps the nano charges. Both lineups are gonna have the nano up and ready to go. Here comes the engage from Hyper Knight. Andrew just immediately just disintegrates under the pressure from Hyper Knight and Abel, and they want to keep the pressure going as Abel hits the nano onto Hyper Knight, but Hyper Knight is gonna just take a little bit of a snooze from a well-placed sleep from Biscuit.
I don't know how I feel about that nano. I mean, you already have such an incredible pick. You're able to get Andrew out of the fight even before it starts, and just keep the nano. Yeah,
I honestly think the nano on the Pharah, because when she's barraging, she's not just like up in the air. It's easy to kill.
You could have even nanoed defensively, like on the Boa's engage here, but Alucard goes down instantly to Hyper Knight, and what an amazing
nice
move
whip
off
shot.
from Awesome. No.
That map, but WK gives a little bit of a friendly push and stuff. But Andrew's over to the Ash here. Does manage to take down Abel, but this defense from the Bear has been so solid. Nano committed there from Biscuit, and Hunter just gets sent flailing off the map. And that was your only ult that you had. You have Rally. Yes, you have Rally Blade coming up, but the Bear have 4 available.
They say to always give your friends a pat on the back, but I think that pat on the back was a little bit too rough as the whip shot. That's every Winston's nightmare, genuinely.
Honestly, yeah, as a Winston player, I can just like internally just see Hunter Tane just screaming
feel the sigh.
no. Yeah.
I can feel the sigh.
I can feel the sigh, honestly, yeah, but Hyper Knight gets pressured, loses all his armor, and has to primal really earlier, but rally up from WK as Awesome's looking for maybe a little bit of a sneak barrage, gets seen by Andrew, but still playing up above, and now Hunter Tane, he doesn't have the support because Hyper had everybody cornered and goes down.
And we can tell it's been nearly 3.5 minutes and we don't have primal. I mean, that's just gone to show how much the Bears just been closing these fights out with just early picks.
Yeah, they do have to commit 3 of their 4 ultimates into that fight, but Harvest manages to cross map Andrew with a well-placed railgun shot. As there's only 10 seconds remaining on the clock, and Awesome still has that barrage to hit the rotation. As barrage comes out, Hunter barely gets primal up in time to get up, but Biscuit falls. Carrot should fall. That's the backline gone. This is another map taken from the Bears, barring a miracle from Alucard and Hunter Tane. Wait, take
looking very miracle-like. I think that's a miracle, and he just witnessed
it. Dude, they needed a hero, and Alucard and Hunter finally managed to get their ult up in time and managed to retake that. That looked dire, but the Bear, I think they got a little too excited as both supports were both supports drop off the high ground and right into the loving arms of Winston and Genji.
And God, isn't that a nightmare for any support line just to willingly jump into a Winston and just a Nano Blade? I mean, the Bear, I mean, if first point was anything to go by, I mean, I wouldn't be too afraid. However, we've seen scripts flip after point one, and I think the Bear are hoping it doesn't do it as Harvest almost gets their head taken off.
Yeah, and then Harvest really returns the favor, and now Hyper Knight's in there, manages to fall C-Care, but Hunter trades back onto Awesome, and now Hyper, the jump doesn't go where he wants to, gets naded, gets taken down, and now the Bear, they have to full retreat. That's going to buy Boa more space.
Good pick, though. It looks like the 3 left on the Bear have stabilized under. They're probably not going to die for this because, listen, as Monkey, I'm not jumping that. Are you kidding me? That's 2 supports and the Sojourn. I'm just sitting on card.
If you go into a small room as a Monkey against those 3 and you think you can kill them, I think you need your delusion, honestly.
Yeah.
but now Boa, they get all this free card push from that, and they almost have where the Bear were stopped, and now the Bear, like, health bar's dwindling down, and Awesome has to be the hero, comes in with the barrage, gets both supports out. That's what you needed from Awesome coming up big, and that should help the Bear restabilize on their defense. But now Biscuit, he has that nano boost, and Alu is not that far away from a blade, and that was the bane of the Bear's existence last time, was that nano blade.
Yeah, I don't know what Abel's going to need to do to get that last ult charge, but Hyper Knight, they're going to need to take some damage and hope that they can build that nano up in time. The rally, it's going to be able to stop a nano blade for a little bit, but until they get that nano in return, it's going to get value. And honestly, if you're the Bear, you need to hope your Monkey just gets picks and is able to survive with this Primal.
But the Bear needs to hit early. They need to fall Biscuit or C-Carrot or both of them before the ultimates can come out, but Hyper Knight's is not in a position to do it. Abel's the one contesting cart right now. Now it comes out onto Alucard. Alu with the blade manages to fall Harvest, but WK goes down. I can't really see what's going on here, but Hyper Knight has the primal out, and Boa
stop point. Nano does get traded, however. If Abel can somehow live, they're like 90 on ult. They're so
Harvest
close.
manages to fall Andrew. It's just Awesome left alive. Harvest can't get there. Boa against the odds manages to come back and take that tie in the series. The Bear, they should have had that on first, but a very, very unfortunate turn of events leads to their demise, as the Bear, they had that on first point, but I think that barrage from Awesome, it didn't get Hunter taken down. Hunter got the primal just in the final hour. I think with the primal he was able to knock off Abel and WK from the high ground, allowing Alu to come in with the blade for the save, as that should have been their map. That should have been the Bears map. Bears should have been up 2-0.
That was a Genji, a like 100 HP Winston and a Tracer versus 5. I mean, that's the kind of those are the kind of moments in a player's career that they think about like a year, 2 years later, and they're like, man, I remember that. That was a good play.
Yeah, Alu, the Batman symbol appeared and Alu answered the call, as they needed a hero, and Alu comes up big with 3 blade kills to actually allow them to take that point, and then in the final hour, it's Alu again with the nano blade, as I honestly just think if you track that they have Nano Blade up, you have to like just either pressure the backline to the point where they can't peek their Genji for the blade. That's all you need to do. Hyper had Primal, he could have gone and pressured the supports into like a corner out of the LOS, and Alu just would have had to pull back with a Dry Blade or just hope to find a kill with it.
Yeah, alright. Good news for the Bear. They've looked very competitive so far in this set. I mean, it looks like when they're able to go first, they're able to take the game in their tempo and they're able to play their style. They're making Boa fight for this. I mean, Boa, this has not even been easy. Even that win that looks so shaky, I mean, you're lucky to bring this back, but you're seeing all the flashes to the world where you're down 0-2 right now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it should have been down 0-2, but basically, now the Bear, they actually get the map selection here, so they can probably just take it to another Brawl map, because they looked very, very comfortable on that Brawl mirror that they on Lijiang Tower. And I won't be surprised if they do that, which I don't know what the next map type up is. I can't remember if it's Escort.
Push Flash.
It's Push Flash. I honestly just see them going. I actually see them taking it to a Flashpoint map that like New Junk City or Cervasa, like one of those ones. I don't know how much these teams have scrimmed Atlas. I did scrim against Boa and Atlas, and they looked pretty shaky in terms of their rotations. Their ult economy was pretty off, and they weren't able to get that much done. But it is the Bears' pick, and if the Bear feel confident on Atlas, they could throw a curveball and pick Atlas, which I did see like in B League. I saw Bluff Creek Big Mo do that twice. It worked one time. It didn't work the other time because they played Reinhardt, who plays Reinhardt in 2025 and gets away with it. But
yeah, I'm very curious. I think you're right. Push Flash, this is what I normally describe as the turning point in series, where if a team is struggling or a team needs a little bit of that oomph on that map 3, this is usually where we see that turn happen. And so, I mean, if you're either of these teams, I mean, especially Boa, I think for the Bear, you're playing really strong. You're really pushing it to this higher seed team. Cervasa does get picked, which leads to the strong brawl that we saw off of the Bear in map 1. If you're a Boa, you're trying to just like stabilize and regain that strength you had in the regular season.
Yeah, I wonder what the mental is feeling like on the side of Boa, because like you probably feel like good that you took that map, but if I'm Boa, I'm wiping the sweat off of my forehead. That was way too close on Blizzard World for it to be considered a decent map. As you saw, like the ult economy, the ult economy from Boa when it was in check, it worked really well. But like again, when the Bear was going first, Boa literally just crumbled. Boa doesn't know what to do against a team that plays first, and that's usually their downfall all the time.
Yeah, the Bear, they need to continue their aggression. They need to continue going first in these engages just because they look so strong when they do it. And Boa, you need to find a way to do that for yourself. You need to be the one that goes first. You need to cancel out this amazing proactive aggression from the Bear, and you need to be able to flip that back into your spot. And the best way to do that right here is going to be off of your ban.
Yeah, which... since the Bear did get first map pick, Boa do get the first ban, which I think they're still in the process of picking it. But I won't be surprised if they just try to ban out maybe they just ban out Ramatra, maybe they ban out Brig, maybe they just try to force. I won't be surprised if they do try to ban out Brig, because WK really strong Brig player, not as strong on the Lucio. So I won't be surprised if they try to force a Lucio mirror if they have that knowledge. Or, in the case of the Bear, you've seen Andrew only play Sojourn. I won't be surprised if they have the DPS slot open to ban that, they ban out the Soj and force, a Cassidy mirror.
Yeah, I would say, right now, I'm very curious to see what we'll see from these teams going into Cervasa. We are most likely going to see Brawl mirrors. I think both teams, they feel fairly solid and semi-comfortable on it. I know the Bear definitely wants that. And we will be seeing, of course, that first ban from Boa in the Tracer ban. I'm a little surprised here by this Tracer ban. I don't think the Bear used it a ton in either maps. I feel like Genji was a little bit more. This probably is more of also a protect ban to stop a Genji ban, because I feel like the Bear were going to go for that.
They might have gone for that, but in the first two maps, Genji's a really weird niche hero, because he can be played in Brawl and he can be played in Dive. Lijiang Tower, very brawly map. Blizzard World, yes, it's a dive map, which usually favors Tracer, but what Tracer struggles with is verticality. He doesn't have that much, but Genji provides that with his ability to wall climb and dash and everything. So that's probably why you saw Genji more in Blizzard World, because that map has a lot of high grounds and it's pretty vertical. But you see the Bear fire back with the Baptiste ban, taking out one of arguably Biscuit's best heroes.
Yeah, we do see that come out. I think that's a smart play, especially if you can't get your DPS ban. And so going into this map, we are probably going to see some sort of hazard composition, maybe a bit more aggressive on a slightly more dive angle, especially with BAP, such a pivotal part of a lot of these brawlier comps, out of the picture.
Yeah, so I honestly am just I think we might see what Lijiang Tower comps break Juno with Ramatra again, because that's what was played there. And usually if you want to brawl and you can't have BAP, Brig Juno is like the next best brawl backline besides Kiryu. And I honestly think that the Bear are just going to favor the Brig Juno just because they have a really good Brig player in WK. Now on the side of Boa, they tend to lean more to their BAP Lucio, BAP Lukiri comps, just because I think that's Bisk or Honor comps. Just because I think that's Bisk's comfort. I don't know how much they actually do play Juno, and it didn't look like they do play Brig Juno that much on Lijiang Tower because they were very uncoordinated on the hit.
Yeah, it didn't look at 100% power for sure. So I feel like if you're the Bear, you feel pretty confident with this map choice. Your brawl looks stronger. You look better going first than Boa did. And that map too, like, you was one mistake away from being up 2-0 in the series. And if you're Boa, like, that's a hard thing to shake, especially when you're definitely the favorite.
Yeah, you see Boa showing a full-on. They were okay, there we go. They're showing a full like front, like we're just gonna run at something and kill it with Reaper. And the Bears showing what they played on Lijiang Tower, which now the Bear, I think instead of playing first, they have to play second. They have to like survive the hit from Boa, and then when Boa doesn't have any cooldowns left because they're just gonna be hyper aggressive, that's when they strike.
Yeah, it's definitely looked pretty solid overall as this first fight comes out. Both teams trying to get their initial positioning here as Andrew drops to 1 and Harvest just goes a little bit too aggressive, and this is looking fantastic for a first fight of Boa.
Yeah, as Boa, this is one of their signature comps that I played against a bunch of times, and the way you beat this comp is you have to know that with Reaper the team wants to go first. They want to like find a character, they want to fight here, they want to put their shotguns in the person's face, and then they want to just fall back, rinse and repeat with their cooldowns. If you can live that engage, or at least just kite to the point where they're stuck in a spot now with no cooldowns left, that's when you can strike. Like the way you beat this comp is you have to play second, because Reaper's not a long fight hero.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. It looks like Boa, they're trying to go first, set this aggressive positioning. Vortex forces them back a little bit here. And the Bear, I imagine you just want to find a way to force out this Reaper because he's the big brawl, he's the big damage output of this Boa roster. If he goes down, the Bear's just going to be able to walk over this front line.
Yeah, now the Bear, they have to either play very baity or they have to know that the full aggression is coming as Hyper's. You see, like, Hyper Knight just like walks past breaks her, and that's the go sign because then the entire team for the Bear is vulnerable as the Bear struggling to find an answer to this Reaper come from Boa, but you just have to, like, your win con, your win con, you play second, you have to wait for like Suzu, Amp, Wraith, like all the defensive cooldowns from Boa have to be like at least burned or mostly burnt for you to get any value from your comp, because your comp has a longer sustain and a longer fight and more damage output more damage output from range. Boa wants to get in your face because that's the only where they thrive.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that front. The Bear, they're coming up to a lot of stuff, but Boa, I mean, they're even ahead on the ultimate front, not needing to use a single thing to get that first objective, just good aggression. And I'd like to see Hyper Knight take that front battle more against Fragster. As we can see, Bo's probably about to go really aggressive into this. They have the advantage as the Curious pops out, but Biscuit and Alucard are both 1 HP as Harvest pops the ult. Andrew goes down, and unless an important trade comes out from Boa, which it does on a WK and Hyper, this is looking really good now from the side of Boa as the flip comes out only off the back of 1 ult.
Yeah, now if you're the Bear, if you're not playing second, which you like are struggling to figure out how to answer this comp, you either have to play second, or the other option is to straight up mirror it and then force who can actually kill us faster, which is like the old Jotes stuff and like the nobody dies until like after 8 ultimates are or whatnot. But Boa, they only use Rush. They have 4. They're sitting pretty. The Bear, yes they have 4 of their own, but I won't be surprised if you see a massive ult fight commence here because both teams have basically their war chest armed and ready to go.
Absolutely here, and it looks like Boa is going to take that first step. However, the Bear, they are pressuring out Alucard. The Blossom doesn't... the Blossom picks up 2. It's fantastic, actually.
Oh, wait, Andrew goes off the map!
Oh, I genuinely want to say that I have no clue what happened. I genuinely no clue. It's a blink and you miss it kind of moment. But I mean, Andrew got all the value he needed, you know, just a quick little victory reset.
The only way I can see that happening is maybe like WK whip shots him off, or Andrew just is walking forward with the Blossom, because you can move forward in the animation and doesn't realize where he is.
Yeah, because you have all that smoke beneath you, maybe caught the tail end of Sea Carrot's amp speed. And I just took a little dip because it didn't look like they got whip shot or vortex down because there was no kill credit awarded. So that was 100% an Andrew death.
I mean, it happens, but you see Boa, they only used that Death Blossom to win that fight, and like, the Bear, they had to commit like their orbital ray to that fight to try to at least counter, but now Boa up to 4 ultimates again. The Bear, Abel has gone over to the Kiri, which is a very weird backline. I've never really seen Kiri bring work, because like, Kiri is pretty self-sufficient. Break like is like there for peel and everything, but you see, WK under assault from Alucard. Alucard does get punished for that, and now rally out from WK. Biscuit goes down with the rush available, and the Bear finally maybe being able to take control of one of the points, but Andrew manages to trade back on Awesome. Is followed by Andrew. Now Annihilation comes out from Frankster in an attempt to try to turn this fight. He might actually get WK. Alucard comes back and kills Harvest, as Boa refusing to let this point go, as they actually have control of it.
Yeah, it's looking really good here as the Bear, they're just falling over. I mean, Boa, clearly whatever like pep talk the team did in between maps 2 and 3, they've completely turned the momentum around. The Bear, they haven't looked strong at all. And honestly, if you're Boa, you're feeling really good going into this potential final fight.
Potential final fight with both support ults up, and you have your Blade available. Now, the Bear, like, yeah, they have WK going to Lucio, but it might be a little bit too late. The Blade coming out from Awesome, but it's going to be answered by the B from Seeker, and Alu was nothing to answer his. Alu was 4!
And just looking so strong on this Genji.
That's map.
I mean, listen, you've seen hero plays before, but I just don't think that the Bear have the resources that Boa did on their hero play. And now, if you're the Bear, you're really wishing you just played a little safer on that first point of Blizzard World.
Yeah, because then you would be like in a situation where you're still a match point, but now Boa takes match point as the Bear just struggling to find an answer. They like, I think both these teams want to play first, and when another one plays first and faster than the other one just doesn't know what to do. It's like both these teams like are really heavy tempo setters, but they don't know how to catch aggression and throw it back in the face. They like, I think both these teams just don't know what the word kite means.
I've got to agree with you. It's just that map looked very opposite for the Bear. They came out swinging on map 1 and 2. They looked absolutely like the dominant team. And Boa, they've turned it around. They managed to kind of find their way underneath this, the Bear comps, and are just looking really, really good now. And now if you're the Bear, you had all this momentum and it's just completely shut out.
It's completely shut out, and I know the Bear, a couple of their players are, from knowing them and playing with them, are prone to having their mental like slowly deteriorate over the course of longer series, which I hope isn't happening, because you have been able to go toe-to-toe with one of the better teams in the C League as a 7th seed. Now, the Bear do get their map selection again here, and let's hope for the Bear that they have that idea what they want to do better, because that just looked like they had their map pick, but the Bears just looked lost. Like as soon as they saw the comp, as soon as both comps met each other in the mid, Bear just folded.
Yeah, if you're the Bear, take that little bit of time, get that same pep talk that Boa did on there, and figure out what really went wrong on that last round. And from there, find your plan. Figure out what you need to do to turn this around, and maybe that's even like giving up map selection to get that first ban, because that feels pretty important in this duel. Though we are going over to a very heavy dive, so I'm wondering how strong the Bear thinks that they will be able to do against Boa.
Yeah, but before that, we're all going to give both these teams a little bit of a break after those 3 maps, and we're going to throw it over to a short break, but stick around. We'll be right back with potentially the last map, unless the Bear manages to tie this up and bring it to a map 5.
Yeah.
We got nowhere to be, just a slow dance with the summer outside, can't wait a few. Cause right now, we got nothing else to do. The sun is peeking through the cotton white blinds. Your hands still tangled up in mine. Feet on the wall, your head on me, floating easy. We got nowhere to be. Got nowhere to be. Your hair's a mess, but you don't mind. You just laugh, let it fall where it lies. Coffee's cold, but we take a sip, talk about nothing. Let the morning slip. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that. Oh, it feels like that, like summer air through window cracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer sun on quiet tracks. Oh, it feels like that, like the summer rain that falls so slowly on the naked skin upon your back. Oh, it feels like that, like a love song on a worn out track. Yeah, it feels like that. Feels like that. Yeah, it feels like that. Na 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 na. Feels like that.
Your grace is love.
Welcome back from that short break. Both teams say I've got some time to reset their mentals, get some water, go to the bathroom, do whatever they needed to do. But the BOA is on match point here to keep their playoff life alive. The Bear, they have to win this next map if they want to keep it alive, which they have shown in this series. They are no slouch. They have gone toe to toe with BOA. They've taken a map off of them. They should have taken map 2, but a few mistakes just cost them. But that last map though, that was nowhere near as close as the first two, as the Bear just struggled to find any answer to that comp that BOA was running. But the good news is the Bear, they do get first pick, I believe.
Yeah,
unless they deferred and took first ban, which I don't know if they did. But Watch Point Gibraltar is going to be potentially our final map in this series.
Yeah, and it is going to definitely be a bit rough. I think the Bear, they need to dig deep for this one. And yes, BOA did get first ban because the Bear picked map.
Okay,
And
this ban makes
Sojourn
no
is gonna
sense.
get This again feels just like a protect ban. They really want this Genji to stay on the board.
If they wanted to protect ban, they could have banned Sombra. why did they ban Andrew's best hero? Unless they're like putting Andrew on Freya or like
Or
a-
Widow.
like
Okay,
that.
here's Hazard. Okay.
But the Bear electing to ban out the Hazard as being able to play against both these teams. Both these teams just don't like to play against Hazard, which I get it. Hazard is fun to play as the tank player, don't get me wrong, but he's hell to deal with if he's really good, which I've seen in pretty much every division. If there's a good Hazard player, they're a problem.
Definitely here. I'm super curious to see because these past 3 maps, they've been fairly brawl focused. I know he had that Blizzard World game, which was pretty decently heavy on the dive, but he was so front heavy on this. Gibraltar, it's a lot about positioning. It's a lot about cart pressure. It's just a completely different vibe than the way a map like Blizzard World plays out. So I'm curious to see how the teams will adapt, though we're probably going to see 2 Winston comps.
Probably 2 Winston comps on a Brig. The DPS line is where things can shake out. You can play Ashe, you can play Cass, Genji, Tracer. I won't be surprised if you see just awesome go Tracer and try to pressure the cart, which is what a lot of teams do, is they just send their Tracer to be the payload princess and try to get cart underneath the car wash on first point, because at that point you've basically forced the defenders to back up because they can't really hold up front anymore unless they want to see it on the cart, or like they have to send somebody to the cart, and you not really want to be looking 2 directions on watch point Gibraltar, especially since first point is usually one of the hardest points to break unless you can just like get really early picks that mean a lot. This whole entire point, like if you can get a defensive hold, strong chokehold on either on points 1 or 2, it's really hard to break, especially in point 2, because if you get shell control, you can see all 4 routes of attack that the attackers have. So you can basically see which routes they're taking by just sitting up there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm curious to see what these teams will go at on this, because we've seen most of these teams dive characters. And so this should just be a pretty, I would say, standard dive Winston setup, as you said, with that on a break backline, a little bit of mixture in the DPS. I think it'll be interesting. We've seen these teams a good bit in their brawl, and now we're going to see them a good bit in their dive.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised if potentially maybe the Sojourn ban means Andrew's going to play Freya, which Freya is still very, very good and annoying to play against. As a tank player, I hate her just because you get like bolted 3 times, you lose your armor, you have to wait.
Yeah, or you just explode because... Yeah,
or you just explode because Blizzard just thinks it's okay for a hero to do 130 damage on a secondary fire shot.
This is both teams' first times playing Gibraltar, apparently.
Very interesting. Gibraltar, I think, was a tiebreaker map in one of the weeks, and I think the Bear would have gone to a tiebreaker map twice, but it wasn't like the first 2 weeks, and I don't think Bo has gone to a tiebreaker map since they played Goman or Umfe.
It'll be a very interesting map for sure here. I imagine the teams, they're probably getting ready, probably going in. So I guess we have a little bit of time on our hands.
More fruit facts.
More fruit. Here's an actually very interesting one that I was very shocked to learn. Did you know that it takes pineapples 18 to 24 months to grow?
Is that why?
Takes so long.
So do you think primal pineapples were growing for 24 months until they became a thing?
Yeah, I think they had to elegantly grow this primal pineapple, and it just took so long for it to really fully form. And I guess they're here. They had to prepare up to a year and a half ago for BPL 7.
I mean, with the roster that they have, it kind of makes sense. Like, they have one of the stronger rosters in A-League, in my opinion.
I definitely agree.
But getting back to C-League, as looks like we're going to be heading in shortly to the Bears pick, Watchpoint Gibraltar, as they felt confident in that. I mean, if you almost beat them on Blizzard World in the dive mirror, you take them to another dive map, as Boa kind of looked a little bit disjointed in the on their attack on Blizzard World. As you see, Hunter Tane is coming back in for Frankster on that tank spot, as no changes on the side of the Bear, as they are going to be the team attacking first, as a little bit problematic that C-Carrot hasn't picked a hero yet and they're defending.
Yeah, they're trying to give that little bit of an early advantage to the Bear. They feel like they need it, and they are going Kiri Lu. Okay, we weren't ready for this. This is the fastest defense I've ever seen.
I rarely see a Kiri Lu played on defense on Gibraltar, just because it's like you can play defender's advantage. Like this map is literally it's very easy to be a defender at this point because like the map is literally like, designed like for defenders basically. But as I predicted, like the Soldier Man means Andrew is going to be playing that Freya as Mary manages to hit a bolt into Abel and take him down to half HP, and the Bear electing not even to play Winston, they're playing Diva.
And I feel like Hyper did so good on the Winston.
Yeah,
right
he
now
looked very strong in the mirror, but yeah, the Bear, I maybe Hyper is more comfortable on the Diva. I'm not really sure, but Diva also kind of does stifle Freya because she can eat eat the explosive bolt. She can also
catch
eat
right
that,
to the face.
Bullet shot, and Abel does manage to fall Andrew, but Andrew managed to land 2 explosive bolts into Abel before going down, so it's a trade, but that's a trade that you'll take if you're Boa.
Oh, absolutely, and it's looking like they're going to go a bit aggressive off this. I think this isn't a bad play at all, though they can't go too aggressive. Boa, they have a faster comp for sure, but they don't have a lot of their damage output, and it looks like Hyper just barely lives as Abel comes back just in time.
Manages to live barely, but he's forced out again, and I think he actually almost might lose mech, but Hunter almost is the one who oversteps there as Suzu manages to just save him. Hyper finally gets D-mech from the onslaught of damage, but now Hunter's under assault from the Tracer from Awesome. As Tracer did receive that buff that really makes her a threat to pretty much anybody, but as a Winston, you really feel it.
6 damage bullets, bro. They hurt. Those things, it's like when you put a rock in a snowball, but it's just like more bullets in your bullets.
If you're doing that, I think you're asking for pain anyway to start with this. Andrew, a couple bolts connect, but Hunter Tate oversteps, but no Suzu to bail him out this time as Nano Cruz comes on the Hyper Knight. Hyper Knight manages to fight Biscuit, and now Hyper Knight chasing down the remnants of what remains for Boa, but Boa, I mean, you have basically 4 ultimates coming up. Hunter should get that. The rush from Biscuit should allow Hunter to get that promo rage up. Barring some type of weird freak accident where, let's say, Hyper gets a Pokebomb, but Hyper may have overstepped, but that bomb is actually in a really good spot up in that doorway, preventing any of the Boa from aggressing through that doorway.
Yeah, and it looks like Boa, they're coming out with a bunch of their ultimates, but they haven't seemed to found really any purchase here, except for the mech loss of Hyper Knight, which is good, but you can see the Bob swung on to the point. It's going to be a little hard to remove here without pressure, and Boa, you see it forces out Hunter Tane's ult as the Bob finally goes down, but Andrew dies to the pulse.
Andrew dies to the pulse, and a nice whip shot from WK sends Hunter in the opposite direction. Now Hyper, he's a bought enough time for Hyper to get his mech back, basically. Now, Kutsune rush out from Biscuit has to be committed to the point, and now the Bear, they have the rally, and Abel is halfway to do another Nano Boost already here as Hunter falls so low, gets bailed out by the Suzu again from Biscuit, but that's not available anymore, and Hunter's still very low. He has to just chill in his bubble and wait for that to come back, but Alu has the blade available.
And just the are so low as... Listen, every Genji player, you take a tiny little step forward and then boom, Rally Brig, you're dead. Just evaporated, blown up. And it looks like this is going to be the end for the Boa first point defense.
Yeah, but they managed just to get it down to 30 seconds, which is very good, all things considered, for what sometimes happens on Gibraltar, especially when you lose your advantage or have to retake their first. But Boa, they did have to commit both support ults. They had to commit Promo Rage. They had to commit Bola Shot. Andrew does call for a pause here, but Bola Shot is just basically a cooldown. You just build it so fast when you're playing that Freya. Alu does have the blade available, I think. That's the only thing available. I think the DPS also are the only thing available for the side of Boa currently.
Yes.
On the side of the Bear, I think you're building towards that Nano Boost and Pulse Bomb, which the last time the Nano Boost went on, it did get a lot of value. Hyper was able to instantly kill Biscuit before Biscuit even react.
Yeah, it's been really good. I think that first point, Boa had a very solid hold. Those just Suzus from Biscuit, it just like basically saved them multiple fights worth of losses, just barely keeping their tank alive in these engages.
Yeah, there's a couple times where they saw Hunter, when he dies, it's usually because he's like in a really bad spot. But when he's like almost about to die, Biscuit manages to save him barely with the Suzu, but then Hunter re-gifts that by just headlong running in. I get it. As a tank, sometimes all you see is red. You see a low health bar target. You see a target that you can think you can kill, and then suddenly you're the one who's dead.
And then you remember the enemy team, the DPS characters, they hurt. They hurt a lot. They're death bullets. Then you die.
Thanks a lot for buffing the DPS passive, Blizzard.
Oh, it looks like we're back into the bear. They're actually getting close to a lot of stuff. I know Hyper Knight is in Baby Diva form, but they are pretty dang close to that that mech coming out. And it looks like we can see here. Harvest just gets immediately taken out by Alucard. Looks like the sniper Genji.
I think Harvest was the one who was pushing Card of all people. Now, Andrew takes down Abel, and now WK is like in a really bad spot here, but Hunter may have overstepped. They do manage to get the trade pick onto... They do manage to get a trade pick. Hunter does fall, but now Hyper Knight maybe demech here. But Andrew oversteps, and yes, you do have bomb Hyper, but you need your mech back. I think you have to make the walk of shame back to spawn, my friend.
Yeah. That's rough. That's why you always have to assume you're going to get chased, especially when you're 1 HP on a character like Diva. Just turn around with that defense matrix held, and it looks like it's eaten fantastic E from Hyper Knight there.
That doesn't even. Harvest just takes the head off of Alucard in the back. Biscuit forces TP out. Now, Abel does fall very low, though, I think, from an explosive bolt from Andrew. He's been really good with those. So now it moves on to Hyper Knight, but he doesn't really have a target to run at. Elects to run to Lucio, but to do a forklift instead.
Yeah, I think the Lucio might be forklift certified there, just easily able to maneuver that forklift right in front of him as he escapes.
Manages to escape, and that does buy time for Boa to get both their support ups out. Now Blade out from Alucard. He's been so deadly with these. Manages to get one WK. Bomb committed from Harvest. It does fall Andrew, but Alu does his job. He manages to get that one pick, and now, oh no! The awesome! It's just a fight two with the pulse bomb. Hunter Chain 1 HP at the point. He doesn't have the promo range available to reset it out. It's just a baby Diva, and also Biscuit manages to take out Awesome, and that should. All the end of this fight is Andrew manages to return just in time.
And the respawns are back. Wow, can you imagine if Hyper Knight was actually pretty close to his mech? If that mech comes back right before that headshot, I think you just do it because the Kiri Biscuit was so low too. You probably could have turned that. That was like one shot difference of securing second.
I don't know what it is with like mobile characters just running into pulse bombs that don't stick them, but it's actually kind of funny, especially when it's a Lucio player.
Lucio
like,
Genji. They're just so hungry, you know. They want a pulse bomb too.
Yeah, but now that I mean, almost heroics from Awesome to turn that fight, but now the Boa has 4 ultimates available here, and this is gonna be an OT fight. Rush out from Biscuit very early. Nice sleep onto, I think that would have been Seeker, but manages to live barely, and that's gonna allow them to have the beat available. And now WK is a little bit split from there on, has to rally under the pressure. Does manage to catch that bonus shot though.
Oh, and you can see WK there. They're just so preoccupied.
Oh no!
It's just. Luckily, the point doesn't get C9'd off of the back of Boa, but I feel like right there, as this fight kind of concludes, we could tell like WK got split from Abel, and they were so worried about their Ana that they kept turning around. They kept turning around over and over. They didn't help their tank at the front line. They had all their packs available and whip shot and bash still. They just felt like they had to help the back line when as the rally break there, if you just sit on your Diva on point, I feel like you're able to even bash the Lucio out of beat. Because you're not turning around.
Yeah, I think like Brig is like one of the hardest support heroes to play, in my opinion, just because like you have to keep your uptime going without feeding, but also like being in a spot to like help your tank, help your supports, even pack your DPS. You know, it's tough as a Brig player to like keep all those things under check, but also like not ending up in a spot where you shouldn't be. But not a bad push from the Bears. It's just like almost identical to the Blizzard world.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. This is basically the exact same as Blizzard World, as you just expertly pointed out. And so I'm curious to see if it'll be the same way. Are we going to have the Bear have an incredible first point defense, barely lives it in OT, and then Boa just kind of cleans up and wins in overtime on second? I mean, we're about to find out.
Yeah, we're about to find out here, but Boa, they're electing to stay in that same comp, but Hunter Tane is showing he's going to be playing the Diva here instead of the Winston, which, I mean, it might be a little bit of an easier time playing Diva into Diva on the attack, because playing Winston into Diva is a little bit tough at times, especially if the Diva just plays the counter dive you and then you can't engage and whatnot. You have to play a lot different, but Andrew on the fray here. gets pressure up, but lands a nice shot on Awesome, but also just recalls. And I think Andrew took damage from his old explosive bolt.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Andrew fully caught the memo there, dying to his own stuff. But Boa, they're still pushing this underneath. They've fully committed to this underground section, and it looks like Awesome trying to pick up a little bit there, but Alucard picks up Abel, maybe left behind by his team on that swing around. And the Bear, they need to stabilize if they don't want to give up this first point early, and it looks like Alucard might have DC'd into the point.
I think he might have just dropped down and tried to hide because he was low and getting chased by Awesome. Awesome, like, it's a nice pick there, but like the Bear, they're going to be in a rushed recontest here, especially since they all kind of, like, Abel died really early and then the rest of the team died late, which means they have to wait for the rest of their responders to get here. And now Hyper's just gonna barely get a touch. Very nice nade from Abel, but he's hit by explosive bolt, taken down immediately from Andrew.
Just fantastic. I mean, we can see why this Freya character is so good, and even though she's not like quote-unquote hard meta, players that are able to just like continuously get value out of their right click show that, like, listen, I'm not an expert or anything. I'm no scientist, as they say, but I don't think 130 damage body shots are that fair.
No, especially especially if you're able, like, you have the capability of two tapping a squishy. I think you can, if you're able to land all bolts into a tank, I think you can like maybe almost take tank out with 4 hits, but I'm not entirely sure. But there's a 2-tap on the Harvest immediately. Also out from Awesome goes wide, and now if you're Boa, you have the shot.
Dead.
And there's Abel falls shortly too, and now Andrew pushing super aggressively. He wants these stagger kills, and he's being backed up by the defense matrix from Hunter Tane, but elects to pull back as Boa. They are almost
cruising.
They're cruising the payload through as Alucard just sitting there. Now Boa have basically 5 ultimates available, and the Bear have, let's say, about 2.
They need to look for something fantastic, and that anti-nade is Gigantamax. I mean, that hit 5 people as the bomb goes off and WK drops, but it looks
what
like
a sleep!
That literally a life-saving sleep as Andrew falls to it. But someone, they need to contest the point. Harvest goes down, but I don't know if Boa has the firepower that they're willing to commit into this fight. But it looks like they are willing to commit into this fight as Apple drops, and that's your nano gone. Biscuit goes aggressive into the backline and drops here. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure with the fall of Sea-Carrot that's gonna just completely shut down this fight. But Sea-Carrot, that beat was such a hard commit into that fight that, I mean, you don't have that at this point.
You might want that back if you're a Sea-Carrot, but
yeah,
I mean, yeah, if you're if you want to make plays, you gotta, like, the worst thing you can do is try and fail. And that's what Sea-Carrot did. I mean, they almost did, but like, the unfortunate thing with Biscuit, I think, got a little too aggressive, and the Sea-Carrot falls. Is you see Harvest take out Alucard, Nano boost out on the Hyper Knight. Andrew falls Abel again with those explosive bolts. He's such a crack shot with those. And now Harvest is in a really bad situation here. Biscuit manages to take him down. Now you only have the rally and the bomb to try to help you hold this further as Awesome almost gets clipped by that shot that would have killed him in the rally off from WK. It's not able to help Hyper Knight though, who was on the high ground.
Luckily, however, no one has fallen yet except for Alucard, who has died, come back into this fight, and then died again. But it looks like WK is going to fall as Sea-Carrot drops as well. Another pulse bomb has been built up onto the side of Awesome, and it looks like he's probably going to have to use it to turn this around. But the blade comes out from Harvest, just trying to get anything done. And man, that Curie character, just so slippery.
Yeah, it's Biscuit manages to get out of there at 1 HP, but now Andrew's like in a really bad situation. Manages to take out WK, but Harvest will get the kill back, and Hyper Knight will manage to chase down Biscuit. Now the Bear, a couple fights finally go their way, but like, yeah, off of like some heroics and like plays from their players. As Boa, Alucard's been sitting on this blade for about like 4 fights in a row. He's died like twice in both fights though first, so I mean, I get it. It happens. But Alu has been such a like map ender with these blades that I won't be surprised if this fight here with Alu with the blade available might be the final fight of the Bears season.
Yeah, and it looks like Abel is going to get jumped on here. Defense Matrix can't save that, and listen, it's going to take a miracle. Maybe everyone will hold hands and explode on top of that, but it looks like it's just Sea-Carrot that falls to that pulse this time. In the Boa, they have everything at their disposal. Hunter Tane and Andrew drop fireworks on the point in celebration as Boa takes this 3-1, and I've got to say, you did predict a 3-1, but I don't think it was supposed to be this close.
No, it's like I felt like after the Bear lost that super close Blizzard World stream, or not stream map, everything just started going like Boa's way. I see Awesome here with the heroics that nearly netted them second point here, but you see Boa just managed they go on their signature comp for Flashpoint. They completely stomp out the Bear. That might have affected the Bear's mental. The Bear, they do fight back on Watchpoint Gibraltar really well, but your Boa, I wouldn't be. I mean, you're happy you won, but I won't be super happy because for playing against a number 7 seed, that was a little too close for comfort in a couple.
Oh
of games.
yeah, 100%. And honestly, if you're Oomphy or Goatman, you're probably not feeling that bad about picking either opponent at this end. You're like, Terrapin, like, obviously not like in that top 3, but still has looked very strong across the season and in plans. But Boa, they looked a little shaky. And listen, the Bear, I don't know where this fire was during regular season. I'm guessing a little bit of hibernation currently from them, but we're going to get into the pick show pretty soon, I'm pretty sure, for C-League. But we do need to first award an MVP. And is there anyone who is on your mind currently?
I'm going to give it, in my opinion, I'm giving it to Alucard. That guy, so super clutch with the Genji blades. He's the only reason he's like the main reason that they won Blizzard World. If he doesn't come with that 3K blade in like the final hour of their attack, they lose that map and they're like in a situation and they're facing a situation where they're down 2-0. If they claw their way back into a map 5, then we're looking at the barrel like where we're going to map 5. But Alu, I think every single blade he pulled, it either forced a massive response from the Bear, or it netted like 3 or 4 kills. Like, Alu was just going off with his blades.
Oh yeah, I've got to 100% agree. I think while Andrew played incredible on that final map, as you said, that second map would not have even gone the way of Boa without the absolute heroic play of Alucard. 100% deserving of that MVP. But let's see here, we saw the graph flash up a little bit on screen. Let's see the 2 teams that managed to get their way through the play-ins. A huge congratulations to both Terrapins and Boa. And you have to give a big shout out to the Bear. I think the Bear genuinely played just incredible in this play-ins. I mean, if you were anyone who saw the Bear make it in, you were probably expecting them to go out right at the beginning, facing Log Racers. But no, they took that game 3-0. And in a different timeline, not so far away from this one, I could have seen the Bear winning this set, or at least taking this to a map 5 versus Boa.
Yeah, honestly, I think it should have gone to him. I honestly thought it was going to map 5 after
map
that
1 and 2.
After map 1 and 2, because those 2 maps, like that version of the Bear, where was it the entirety of the season? If they played like that, they would have been like in the top. Like, they probably would have been like at least like lowest
top 4,
4th, like top 4, yeah. But I mean, the journey ends here. But if you're the Bear, like, you fought your hardest against one of the top teams, and you pushed them to the limit. Yeah,
I'd feel pretty dang good.
You basically pushed the team that was the number 1 seed up until like week 4. If they take map 2, they win the series. Because at that point, if you're Boa, you're probably like wondering what the heck's going on. Stuff isn't going your way. You probably went into this match thinking you'd 3-0 them, and you're down 2-0.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly think, like, if the Bear manages to take Blizzard World, they win 3-1.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. And so, to the Bear, we give you a sorrowful, but honestly, a bit uplifting of a goodbye. I mean, all the players on this team, they really came at it in full force. And genuinely, I think they can rest this BPL Season 7 knowing they put on an absolute show for us in the play-ins. And so for every player on the Bear, thank you for having such a great play-ins run. And yeah, I imagine it is getting late. So Solomon, what do we have to say to the people, I'm guessing?
Well, we've got to do...
We got the picking show, right? The
picking show.
Yeah, for a C-League pick show, which I'll be there because I am on Oomphy University myself.
Well, speaking of... there's only really one pick that needs to happen on here.
Which is basically Oomphy's pick. Yeah.
I see in the waiting room we also have Ronan and Xlara from
Ronan and Lara, yeah.
I think,
Yep. So
Hello, welcome.
we've
Greetings.
we basically talked this over as a team after we basically talked this over as a team after the couple weeks of plans, but I'm gonna let my captain take this one to tell everybody who we're picking for our first round.
Already?
Yep.
Oh, all right. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and pick Terrapin.
There we go. Terrapin will be against Ufa University, which means Boa will be against Goatman. Potentially unsurprising, but give us your thoughts on Terrapin, why you chose them over Boa.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
We scrimmed against them. We scrimmed against them. We played against. They were our first match, and I think they have improved over the course of the season. Don't get me wrong, but of the two teams, no flack. They're probably the easier opponent.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to know? Also another fun fact. I kind of had already told Boa that I was gonna pick Terrapin.
Oh yeah, because we scrimmed them 2 days ago.
Because we accidentally got matched up in a scrim, and they were like, "We'll scrim you guys, but just give me your word that you won't pick us if we win." And at that point, we just wanted to scrim, and we're like, okay, we could go opposite sides of bracket, so we'll take Terrapin. So even if Boa would have played like we thought they'd play worse, we were still just gonna pick Terrapin no matter what.
Really interesting. I've got to say though, I don't know if you were watching that game at all. How do you feel like this Goatman Boa match is gonna end up? Who do you think you're facing in upper finals?
I think we're facing Goatman, honestly. Boa, that's the most vulnerable Boa's looked. It's like, Goatman's the only team who actually beat them in Reg. So I think they can do it again, especially with Boa kind of looking vulnerable in the series against the Bear. In this last series against the Bear, I think we're probably gonna be facing Goatman upper.
Alrighty. Definitely super exciting heading into the C League playoffs, and it's a small celebration. All of the teams have been selected across all 3 leagues.
That is it. Thank you very much, Umfi, for your picks.
Yes, sir.
It means the top 4 are the top 4 in playoffs. Those 6-1s where everyone is so close, that's going to make for a very interesting playoffs for sure.
Anyone could win it out in the end, and that's what makes an exciting finish there. So for anyone rooting for any of these top 4 teams, make sure to catch every single match streamed across BPL. This is a perfect time to drop those subs to the channel because you don't want any ad missing that insane match. Denji, could you imagine having an ad pop up right at the end of Blizzard World first, and you're like, Boa, they've lost it, just to come back in like 30 seconds later and see if they're somehow on second?
I called that thing. I thought Boa had lost the map, and then Alucard just comes out of nowhere and kills through the blade. That guy basically decided to say, I'm proper, and just completely take over he literally just said, nah, I'd win, I got this, guys, and then rips 3. Like, bro's the best Genji in C League.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. That is all of the playoffs brackets set now. How wonderful. Those will happen at some point, basically. We're going to work with teams to find a good time that works for everybody, because we know that has been difficult. So you will see matches. It's a Wednesday, and we had games yesterday, and we had games on Monday as well. And that's just how it goes sometimes at this end of the playoffs. So much more this weekend, and then probably some others around in the weekdays before and after the weekend as well. Thanks for watching, guys. That is play-ins complete. It's now playoffs time. Everything is reset. We've got double elimination. Everyone starts in the same place. So it's anyone's chance to win in Season 7. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you this weekend for playoffs action. Good night.
Farewell. Good night.
어디서부터 참을 수 있을까? 벌어진 틈새를 채울 순 있을까? I don't know what to do. We've already spent too much time. 우린 이미 너무 먼 길을 너의 건네줄게